And we are live for another amazing wisdom circle, returning to yourself, reclaiming yourself. Like, really, this is incredible. I'm so honored to be able to present these wisdom circles. Of course, my name is Sophia from Sacred You, but more importantly is we've got these incredible women from all over the world with us today to discuss their wisdom, to share their wisdom on returning and reclaiming yourself, led, facilitated by the wonderful Joanne Irwin. So, Jo, I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself. And what about this wonderful topic before we then introduce everyone else and have a wonderful conversation? And I shall be back at the end. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Welcome, everybody, and to those who are watching us out there. I'm really excited about today's topic, actually, and returning to yourself, our monthly connection where we return to ourselves and reclaim your inner wisdom. And I wanted to say something about that because I feel like there's a lot of women out there that don't believe they have wisdom. And I want to make that clear that we all have the wisdom, whatever age, whatever level, wherever you are in your life, we all have wisdom. We just need to take the time to tap in and check in with ourselves so we connect to that wisdom. And that's what I'm all about. And working with women to really find themselves and find their own voice and find their wisdom and find their worth. And I sort of came in on a conversation that Jan was talking about here around money. And that's been my latest passion to work with women around, because I think it brings out a lot of our beliefs or non-beliefs about what we deserve in life. So
yes.
Thank you all for joining us, and for the beautiful ladies that are here to talk about this topic, because it really connects to, it's the essence of returning to self. You know, when we realize that the life that we built or the life we're building doesn't always feel exactly what you want. It doesn't feel like it's yours anymore. And I know that we've all gone through cycles like that in our lives, and we'll go deep into the topic. But before we start, I'd love to just all of these lovely ladies to introduce themselves and share, what do you do? What's your passion, and who you are, and what do you do briefly, and perhaps sharing a word with our audience, how you're arriving today in this space. And here are our beautiful other facilitators, panelists that are joining us. Welcome, Denise. Welcome, Anik. So let's start with Jan, because she's right there on my left. Hello, Jan.
Hi,
Welcome.
Jo. It's great to be here, and I totally agree with you. The subject is just a fascinating subject, and I'm sure with all of us we'll have a different perspective on it. It just brings up so many questions, like which self are we talking about? But anyway, that's for the discussion. I live in northern New South Wales in Australia, in a lovely little place called Byron Bay. I spent 40 years in the finance industry, and at age 65 decided that I wasn't going to retire in that industry, but didn't know where I was going to go. So I looked at different modalities. I had a master cert in NLP back in the 80s. So I looked at other modalities that dealt with beliefs and sabotaging behaviours and all those things. So I looked at nonviolent communication, tapping, and also RTT. And after 12 months of involvement with each one of those modalities, I landed on RTT and also became a clinical hypnotherapist. So the balance I think I bring is the different elements, and the element is the logical mindset, financial literacy, and also sabotaging money beliefs. So bringing all of that together, I don't believe that you can financial literacy yourself out of a money block. So that's my passion, to see women actually empowered to take on their whole money story. We've been left out of that game for far too long.
Oh,
and
I
we
love
know
it.
because I
You've lived
worked
it.
in a male-dominated industry for a long time.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
love
time
it.
we stepped up.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
I love this work, and it's an area that I'm passionate about too. So
yeah.
welcome. And you're just up the road from me. I'm just on the other side of Alstonville.
I know. I'm sure I think we may have met
We
somewhere
may
because
have met. We
you
may
look
have met.
familiar to me. So
Awesome. I
we'll have
love to
to
meet you
coffee's coming
sometime.
up, I think.
I think so. I
I think
think
so.
so. And what word is you landing here today in?
I met Sophia through
Oh no, sorry, the
oh,
word. How one word about how you're arriving today. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
oh, fascinated and excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's two that will take that. Beautiful. Thanks,
Sorry.
Jan. No, that's no apology needed. Anything goes in this space. So
Right.
welcome, Tony, all the way from the other side.
Thank
As
you
you
from
said
the other
earlier.
side of the world.
Yeah.
I'm Tony LaMotta. I'm from Sun City Center, Florida, in the United States. And the the name of our city really tells you what it's like here. It's a beautiful place of land of the sunshine. And I have a very unique story. I'll be very brief as I share it now. I'm sure I'll share more, but I
Yes.
spent 16 years as a Roman Catholic nun many
Ah,
years ago. And what happened during that time, I took vows, and the vow of obedience taught me that I couldn't trust myself. I had to listen outside. Everything was dictated. Was told what to wear, what to eat, where to live, what work to do, everything. And when I left and started to recognize that I had totally silenced my own inner voice. And it took years, and I went through lots of studies, lots of reading, lots of mentors. And it's only in the last several years, I'm also an ordained New Thought minister, but in the last couple of years, I suddenly realized that everything that I have been teaching is about how to get in touch with your own inner voice. And so I'm known now as the Inner Compass Coach.
wow.
And I teach people to awaken the capacity to live from their inner compass so they can be guided by wisdom rather than fear. And I also believe that we are all conscious participants in our own evolution. And
Yes.
so I help people see their own evolving nature coming from their own wisdom. I love what you said, Joanne, before, that we all have that wisdom. And so many women in particular have buried it. They may not have taken vows like I did, but I've been on a lot of podcasts lately and I talk about the vows we all take. Some people take a vow of perfectionism. Some people take a vow that they're going to help everybody else and forget themselves.
Yeah.
I'm also an accredited Enneagram teacher. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Enneagram, but there are 9 different ways people sell themselves short and they forget their own knowing. So it is just such a joy to awaken that in people again. And that's what I see. It's just awakening it. It's there. And I
Right.
teach people how to live it and live
Beautiful.
from it myself every day. I walk to my own drum.
Yes, we can see, definitely feel the energy of that. And being brought up as a stout Catholic myself, I totally get it. So, wow, thanks, Tony, for joining us. And I hear your awakening may be your word today.
Awakening is my word, yes.
Hello, Helen. Welcome,
Hello,
Helen.
Jo. Yeah, lovely to see you again. It's been a little while since I've
Yes.
been on your circle, so I'm excited to be here. So I thought I could give a little bit of my background too, because Tony and Jan have done that. I ill health retired from teaching in my early 50s, and was really in serious trouble with my health, and was no longer able to work in the capacity that I'm being. So it put me very much in the looking zone. I think there's always something that puts you in the looking zone. And I knew, because of the nature of my illness, that I needed to get in touch with myself. Some similar background to Tony, with religious teaching that had kept me out of myself, external referencing instead of internal referencing. And I was very fortunate at that point in time to find the erotic blueprints, and they became my framework for my returning to self. I took a quiz that Jaya, the creator of the blueprints, had created, and the quiz described me in a way nobody else had ever described me. It described me as a person who's sensitive to energy, who feels all of the energies, but who is also very sensual. And I had not owned in any way that energetic part of me, that high spiritual connection, that easeful connection I have to everything around. I was just living in overwhelm. Those energies around me were just shutting me down. I was using them to shut myself down. And so I journeyed with the erotic blueprints, had this massive awakening experience. And the word erotic in Jaya's definition means just everything about how you do life. It's not, some people see that to be just about sex, but I don't. I see it as about how I turn up and show up in the world. So I became an erotic blueprint coach. And then for the deep healing side of things, I studied what is now called rapid coherence. And that doesn't need any explanation because the name tells you exactly what that does. So I coach people through the erotic blueprints, and through these rapid coherence processes, I'm able to help people release very easily the things that are holding them in place.
Yeah, I love that. Rapid coherence. Wow. That just
Yeah, it's a
landed
great name.
deeply, deeply, deeply. Thank you for sharing that background, Helen. Beautiful work you're doing as well. Yeah.
And my word,
good. Yeah.
is pleasure.
Ooh, let's get pleasurable. I know Anik loves that word too, right, Anik? Welcome. Welcome, lovely. Nice to see you. Your sound, my sound wasn't working when I joined.
Can you hear me?
Oh, that's better. Yeah. That's
Okay, good. Well, welcome. Hello. My word, I'll tell you straight away, my word is dreamy. I'm still dreaming this morning. I'm in La La Land.
Welcome in La La Land.
I love being in La La Land. Yeah, I'm just in La La Land. I did a deep meditation, and I'm floating above, even above the cosmos. Okay.
Bring it all, girl. Bring it all.
Yeah. So I need a bit of grounding here. But my name is Annick Patry, so it's a French name. I'm originally from Montreal. Actually, in 6 minutes, I should have been in a plane to Vancouver and then Montreal, and I had to postpone my trip. Uh, there's a bit of a story there, but anyway, for another day.
Yep.
So I'm here with you instead on this incredible panel podcast, which is very rich. So I'm based in Sydney, Australia, New South Wales, living the dream that I had to live in a warm country and live by the beach. So you can live your dream. It's all possible. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of taking action. So I help, I empower heart-centered women entrepreneur to live their dream, to create, to express, and to liberate themselves from their ancestors' stories, and to actually really embody and live their purpose, their passion with grace, with joy, with ease. And I've got a group called the Voice Alchemists. So that's where we voice our truth, and we let go of the rest. We're free. We're here to be free. We're here to be free. So that's what I'm passionate about. I've created a modality. I've heard all these women, they've got incredible modalities, and I've created one. It came to me when I had a near-death experience in 2017. It's called voice tapping. So it's a mixture of using your voice and it's influenced by the tapping emotional freedom technique. So yeah, it's a great powerful modality that's been working for, you know, hundreds and hundreds of my clients, and working for this one here because I'm my first number one best client.
Yep.
And yeah, so
Thank you.
let's dive in today. I'm
Let's dive
excited. Thank
in.
you for
Yes.
having me in this
Well,
panel today. Thank you.
thank you for being here. And
Anik, I'm finding it difficult to hear you.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Is it me?
I don't know. I'm gonna go to setting and check out
Check
the
it out.
microphone.
While you do that,
Yeah.
we'll continue to move on. And thank you everyone for sharing your beautiful, beautiful gifts to the world and what you do. But before we start, I always like to ground us, as Anik was saying, and just maybe get really centered and in the space for just one moment. And I'm going to take a moment to put your hand on your heart. You're feeling your feet on the floor, your bottom on the seat, and just taking one long, slow, deep breath. And holding it for a moment. And a longer, slow exhale out. I'm just arriving here as you are, without judgment, whatever you're feeling is all welcome here. Yeah. So, our topic is really connected to returning into yourself, isn't it?
Mm.
Right? And I think, you know, we feel that sometimes there's something wrong with us when we don't feel like we are on the trajectory of the life that we thought we wanted, or things change, you know, circumstances change, and you thought it was the life that you wanted, and then suddenly things change, and it's no longer what serves you, or what fills your soul, your heart. And there's also seasons, right, in our life where things change, evolve, and grow. And without those seasons, we would never become the person we become in the end. And everything. I heard something the other day, and it might have been from someone in this group. You know, I used to feel everything is happening for us instead of to us.
Mm.
But they said everything is happening from us.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Coming from us and where we're at in our life. And, you know, it's normal to feel disconnected at those times because you're searching for what it is, reconnecting with that self. And so you're reclaiming, in a sense, and things happen. We get a bit, you know, unsettled because there's a message there. Life is nudging us to you know, think outside the square, look outside the square, go within and feel what it is you want to feel in order to keep moving forward. Because I think we hold ourselves back a lot sometimes when we don't actually feel the emotions that are blocking us from moving forward. And it can be uncomfortable. And I know the uncomfortable. I'm a deep diver. So discomfort could be the signal of the inner wisdom that you're seeking to find or to hear. And that takes a little bit of patience, time, and really going within. So yeah. And sometimes too, it's we go into situations, so we're going along life and we're living somebody else's dream, somebody else that wanted something else from us. And I think Helen alluded to it earlier when you talked about you started off as a teacher, right? And I know a lot of people in my community, in my family, that have all become teachers because that's what their parents did.
Mm.
They didn't know anything different, or they didn't explore anything different. Yeah. So I think this is really the heart of finding your reclaiming yourself and finding your inner wisdom. Yeah. So today I want to honor that voice really, and really explore what it means to stop living that life that's not yours, or performing a life that is not truly what you love and desire, and living from a place of genuine connection or authenticity. So I have a question to start with, and there's no rules here, Tony. If I see your mic unmiked, I'll get you to jump in, or just, wave at me if you want to have something pressing to say, and we'll all take a moment just to reflect on that feeling, if you've ever had that feeling. Or you may even the audience may out there be watching right now, feeling this right now, that the life they're living doesn't quite feel like yours. And Tony, you alluded to it earlier as well. I'd love to hear more about that. What does that feel like? If you don't mind starting, I'd love for you to share a bit more about.
Sure, I can share with it, because one of the things that I've discovered lately, I mentioned the Enneagram before. I'll just say a couple of sentences in case people don't know what that is. For me, it is a tool for spiritual growth. Many people see it as a psychological tool that tells you about your personality, but it really shows us where our personality is taking away from our divinity and who we really are within. So, one of the things that's fascinating is I'm an Enneagram 7. Sevens are the enthusiasts of the world. We're filled with joy. We know how to bring excitement to things. And one of the things, it's freedom. We're freedom lovers. And imagine me in a convent where everything was structured and rules. And so what has happened to me over the last several years is I realize I can best teach people who are stuck in that structure. People, and in the Enneagram terms, it's the 0.6, because the 0.6 is looking for certainty. They're looking for outside influence. They're looking for who they can trust. And it's never themselves. It's always something outside, someone, some plan, some group. And so I know what that's like, because I lived that for 16 years. And I thought it was giving me, that's how to be holy, follow the rules, do what you're told. And so most people, and you talked about people who live their parents' dream, people who live other people's dream. When today everybody's living the social media dream, what everybody else tells you you're supposed to think or feel or do. And I find that it's like so freeing for me to live in both worlds. I recognize the gift of that 6, the gift of, excuse me, the person who's loyal and courageous in the middle of not trusting. And I can bring them some new way of living. It's very interesting, Joanne, you started, because the word that came to me when I started here was life is happening for us, not to us. That's one of my mantras all the time, and I love it. It's from us. I think that's wonderful. Because I often teach people that, we have voices. We all have voices in our head. And one of my teachers said, label one of them as your barking dog. It's the one that says you shouldn't be doing that. Why are you doing that? All those messages. And then there's the voice of society, is the things our parents told us, the things our school or our church told us. And then there's the still small voice that knows the truth, that knows what we really want. And, I know a little bit of neurolinguistic programming. When somebody says to me, I don't know what I want, and I always simply say, if you did know, what would it be? And they always know. They always can tell you exactly. Or I don't know what to do. If you did know, what would it be? And it amazes me the wisdom that comes forth. Each person, has that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. I'm also an NLP practitioner, hypnosis practitioner. So I get it. I hear it. And so is Jan. So we're doing a bit of a full circle here, but it's wonderful that we all have so much in common and so much wisdom around this. And anyone else want to jump in and share how they felt when they maybe perhaps a time in their life they didn't feel it quite like theirs? What did that feel like?
Yeah, as I said, I became really unwell, and I think ill health is the extreme. It's when you're so out of sync with where you really want to be, where you know, with life. Both my parents were teachers, and I became a teacher. And I worked in probably one of the most exhausting jobs as a teacher, which is in a music department. Because, you know, you're getting kids out on performances, you're taking them on camp, you're touring, you're doing, you know, it was just a job that I never could turn off from. It was a very all-consuming job. But yes, I think it's very important for people to notice when their health is not together. And mine got to the point where it was screaming. I was starting to manifest some life-threatening conditions. I'd struggled with chronic fatigue for many, many years. And then, you know, that snowballed on into, you know, more serious conditions. And it came to a point where I said, enough of this. This has got to stop. And what I've found is that as I've unfolded and returned to myself, that my wisdom has grown. The access to wisdom has just become more and more easeful. I'm more in tune with subtle energies. I became a qualified Qigong teacher. Qigong, it looks a bit like Tai Chi, but it means literally, Qi means energy and Gong means work. And, you know, it's just become a part of my daily living to practice Qigong, to practice energy work, to keep the field clear, to keep my systems in my body working well. One thought I had, Joe, about what you were saying before is, you know, people can feel that they don't have access to the subtle energy or insights, but we all do. And this is how you know. We all have hindsight. We all have that moment when we think, oh, I thought I should have done that because the message came in, but you didn't do it. And you regret because you made a decision that's led you, you know, somewhere, you know, that you didn't want to go. Does that make sense? You know,
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So everyone has that internal message, but it's as women learning to listen to it and to actually say, okay, this has come in, let's test it out.
Yes.
See if that's actually the better pathway.
Yeah. And it's often in hindsight, right? And after the fact, we go, oh, yeah. And
I knew that.
And that, yeah, I knew that. And that could be a spiral in itself, because then you start to, you know, feel guilty and beat yourself up and go into that spiral. Yeah. So relevant. And thank you for sharing that, because illness is I feel the biggest thing that can happen to be one of the biggest things beside, you know, tragedy, but illness is like a big wake-up call. There's something not working in our life. Our body keeps the score. Our body has the wisdom, and if we don't listen, eventually we end up, like, you know, in a more sinister situation. And but now look where we've come as a result of listening. What I'm hearing here is this: look how far we've come, and now how we can teach that. So anyone want to share, or should we move on to the juicy bits? Go, Jan.
Switch off my audio. From us, just flipped everything. Because it fits, I guess, my model of we come in with issues that we need to deal with, and what we can see is everybody that's dealt with their own personal issue teaching it, because how can you teach it if you've not experienced it? So my journey with money was because I became a sole-supporting mum of 3 children, and debt, credit card debt, had to become very savvy with money. But that evolved. And I now thank absolutely everything and everybody that's come into my mind and into my life that's provided a trigger, because that trigger then becomes a signpost. That's what you need to deal with. And I believe we're on a lifetime journey. We will continue journeying our journey, and hopefully influence and have impact on other women, people in the world as well. So kudos to each of us for, first of all, being brave and courageous and kind enough to get to here. And secondly, to have the courage to inspire others to do it as well. But yeah, wonderful to come
100%.
from us. We're meant to be doing exactly what we're doing.
Yep. And modeling that, because I know it wasn't always easy. I know we all started somewhere, that was hard work. Now it's heart work. We turn the
Yes.
hard work into heart work. And that's
Yes.
so damn powerful. And that's really the crutch of it, because it has been hard work. I was also a solo mum of 4. So thank you for sharing that, Jan. Anik, you want to speak your wisdom, please, before we move on to the next piece?
Just 1 2 1 2. Is the microphone better? The sound better?
Yes. Lovely.
Okay. Hearing my voice here.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I resonate with everyone's share here, everyone's experiences, because I was mentioning at the beginning, introducing myself, that I had a near-death experience in 2017. So, when your life is going to be taken away, that you really you really go deep within, and you ask yourself a few questions. What the heck am I doing here, really? And for the rest of the time that I have here, how do I want to design my life? Like, what do I want to create, express, and contribute? These are the 3 main questions we've got to get really clear about. Who am I? What do I desire to express through this vessel, through this body, through this voice, through this heart? What do I desire to express? What do I desire to offer, to contribute, to give to this? What's my legacy? What am I leaving here? What's the print, the tattoo? What do I want to tattoo on Mother Earth, on peoples? How do I want to be remembered? And what was the other one? What do I desire the playground? What do I want to create here? How do I want to play the game of life? Because it's just a game, really. To stop taking ourselves too seriously, but at the same time, to value our human life enough, that actually more than enough, that we are creators. We are God. God lives through us. God creates through our vessels. And to get really, really clear on what we're here what game we're here to play, and what's our legacy, and how we want to roll, create our own rules, because there's no rules outside of ourselves. We impose our own limits. We impose our own limits on ourselves, financially, emotionally, mentally. That's what we do. So we want to bust these limits and expand our range. Like live bigger, wider, stronger, to be in our power. That's what it is. We are creators, and we want to create from a place of power, from a place of clarity, from a place of love, of heart, of soul.
Yeah.
She's on.
She's on now. She's back. She's back. She's grounded. I love it.
But I love mornings, because that's where I channel.
Yeah.
The best information for me is coming through right here, right now, in the morning in Australia. So here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Amen to that. I thank you so much. That's beautiful. And it is so profound when you read the stories of people who are on the edge of staying or going, leaving this planet, and come back. It's so it's just so interesting or very powerful to me that you've come back for a reason. You've come back to share your voice, to share your wisdom, to share who you are, and to support and help others reclaim their own life back. So thank you for coming back, and I honor that. That's just beautiful. And yeah, so I want you now to just maybe put and I did have some deep emotional moments there when you were sharing too, so very deep stuff. It's time now to put your coach or your practitioner's hats on, and we're going to speak to our audience today and how we can share our own expertise for them. And you shared a little bit about your own story and where you've come from, where you are right now. But let's be of service to those watching, that we can support in helping them come back home to themselves and experience, what we're experiencing life. So we're putting those hats on, and we're going to come from that space, and I'm going to throw some questions out. We may not get through them all, but we'll do our best to get through most, because I think it's important that people that are watching that may not be feeling they're there yet. So I think this could be very powerful to support that process for them. So when a client, it comes to you saying, I don't recognize, and I've had many coming from this space, I don't recognize myself, I don't recognize my life anymore. I don't feel connected to anything. I feel lost, lonely, whatever it may be. What would be the first thing that you would help them see? Go, Jan.
I would help them with an exercise that I do with clients, and that is to see themselves as the diamond that they actually are. And the stories that we've created, probably by the age of 7, those stories had a reason to be there, usually for the sense of protection, whatever. It was a perceived threat at some point in time. Not necessarily overly traumatic, but just a perceived threat by the child. And so they create a belief, because what they need to do is to belong, because if they don't belong, then they don't survive. So a belief has been created, and from that belief comes a behavior, and those behaviors have outcomes. So it's almost like reverse engineering. So I get them to print out on an A4 a picture of a diamond with all its beautiful facets, and then on a post-it note write down every negative thing that they have. Like, I grew up, you're too big, be quiet, be still, don't be seen, don't be heard. That was the generation I grew up with, and also European parents, so that helps, doesn't it? Yeah, so don't be too loud, make sure everybody else is comfortable and everybody's okay. Many women could relate to that. That seems to be the role that we were destined to play, but not anymore. So whatever it is, whether I'm not enough or I don't deserve, this isn't available to me, whatever comes up, and each one of those post-its then gets placed on the diamond. And oftentimes the diamond's completely covered. You can't see anything, because the stories that are overlaid, you can't see the shine or the brilliance. So what we then do, once they've done that and sit with that for a bit, get grounded and take off each one of those post-its, and then say the opposite. So if the belief or the feeling is I'm not enough, then the opposite could be I honor my uniqueness, whatever comes to them, and they take it off. And so that's a process that's it has a few different things. It's a reframe. It also calms the nervous system, and also does some embedding for future perceptions of themselves. And the question was, did the diamond ever lose value? Never. The diamond remained the diamond. It was just covered. It couldn't be seen. So by revealing and changing each one of those negative thoughts, beliefs, patterns, the shine was revealed. And that, as an exercise, it takes a while, but it's a beautiful exercise and it's very elegant. Works a
Beautiful.
treat.
Thank you. Thanks, Jan. Yeah, something really profound and practical that people can do.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Tony.
I have a very similar practice, Jan. I love the diamond, but I work with a program called the Art of Quantum Living, and it's shadow work. And so people come with all the negativities. And so we have a shadow, we call it your cue card. And you begin by looking at a list of all the things that are your shadow. So everybody writes out a list and you then choose the top 6. And it's who you're not, is what we tell people. Your shadow is who you're not. I'm not enough. I'm selfish, I'm lacking, I'm self-centered, all those things that people might say about themselves. They get to choose a whole list and then they choose the top 6 and put it on the card. And then we give them an exercise that says, make a list of the people you have admired through your life. And what are the qualities in those people that you admire? And the message is you can't admire something in someone else unless it's in you first. So the reason you can see it is because it's one of your own qualities. And they're usually kind of surprised with that. But when they do that, then you can choose the 6 qualities of who you are and who those people have shown you, and you list those. I'm optimistic, I'm persevering, I'm versatile, I'm creative, I'm compassionate. And you get to write that on the other side of the card. And then when I'm in a group with people, I often do most of my work in groups, we can say then each person gets to read it, and you read it this way. This is who I am not. And you read the list, and then you turn your card over. But this is who I came here to be. And you read that. And as I even say that, I get chills because each person, and as they're reading it, they recognize, first of all, we all come up with almost the same lists. It's very interesting how many people, and you get to realize you're not alone. And those feelings are just feelings. But this is who I came here to be. And then the rest of the program, we spend time with triggers and say, whatever I'm triggered with at the moment, we're never upset for the reason we think. It's never about what's happening. It's not the circumstance. It's a belief from your childhood. And we do a lot of neuroplasticity work with saying, what if you made up a whole new story? And what if in the circumstance you're experienced, you came from the side of your card that said who you came here to be? How would you respond differently?
Beautiful.
And very, very, very powerful. And
beautiful and powerful. Definitely. Oh, I love that, Tony. You're doing such amazing work. Thank you for sharing that. That leads me to a question about, maybe the other ladies can jump in here around the difference between what we think we need to rebuild our life versus simply just reclaiming our life. Like, what's the difference? Because people may not recognize that it just could be just reclaiming it. You don't have to rebuild your entire life because you already know deep down, what you want. So does anyone want to speak to that, Annika or Helen? Because I'm just aware of our time, that's all. The difference between a life that needs to be rebuilt and a life that simply just needs reclaiming.
Yeah. In the work that I do around the erotic, one of the first things I do, because I'm mainly working with people who feel the energies, very energetically aware, energetically sensitive, is I tell them that this is going to take time. We need to just unfold carefully over time. The model of the blueprints it's really about skilling people. We are not erotically educated. We are, as women, mostly suppressed in the erotic. We're told we're not to have these sensitive energies and these clairvoyant type understandings and so forth. And so we're not dealing just with our own repression. We're dealing with centuries of it. And this is a disruption. This is really changing, the whole dynamic is empowering people to actually listen to those subtle energies, and also equipping them with tools for how to really experience those and know them in their life. And that's one of the things I love about the erotic blueprint work, is that we are gently equipping people with ways, with skill base to actually learn things like how to ask for actually what you do want. Well, first, a lot of people who are highly energetic in the first place need to work out what they do want, because they often don't even know what they do want. And then how do you ask that in a way that you're safe and can actually receive too. Yeah, receiving's another skill base that that I help my clients with. Yeah. So many, you give someone a compliment and a lot of women will bounce it back. They won't actually receive the compliment. So, Joanne, you look absolutely beautiful today.
Oh, thank you, darling. I
And
appreciate
I
you.
know I can do that to you because I know you've learned to receive, but that can be just a session in itself, learning how to accept and receive somebody else speaking what they actually see in you.
I love that. I love that. And there's so many layers, isn't there?
Oh, there's
So
a
many,
lot of layers.
and often we're not ready to see those layers or work with those layers because we haven't yet seen them.
Yes, exactly.
Is
And
that-
that's where a
yeah.
coach comes in. Yeah, a coach can just gently guide you. I just want these clients, the energetic clients, to commit to 6 to 12 months of work so that we can just gently unfold and unpack the different layers.
Yeah, I love that because it's how much time we need. You can't fix things in a session or even 12 weeks is my minimum. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Helen. Anik, did you want to speak to that, or should I throw something else out to you?
Well, I'm open to all possibilities, but I mean, if I was to share something about rebuilding or reclaiming, um, I'm feeling that it's something in between that. There's like we're constantly evolving. And if we're not evolving, if we're not expanding, if we're not moving, we are in motions. We have to be in motions. It's because we're spiraling and we're stuck. And if we're stuck, it's because there's a trauma there. There's a deep ingrained something that really, there's a block, and um, and we, by connecting with our heart, with our soul, by practicing full presence, by allowing the emotions to move through, because it takes only 90 seconds to process an emotions. It's what we do, human. We're funny, but we keep torturing ourselves, and we go back to we stay stuck in the emotion because we keep feeding a story. We feed a story, like you feed the dog. You keep feeding the dog until he so fully explode. You know what I mean? You got an indigestion. You. So we are here to evolve. We are here to we're constantly building something. We're constantly creating. Now, what we got to watch is whether we're going to sabotage our creation, what we're building. You know, we got to watch not sabotaging and keep putting some strong foundation and building the house brick after brick after brick after brick. I mean, then the ego, there's the voice of doubt that can come and say, oh, am I in the right direction? Am I building the right thing? Or, you know, then doubt comes. And it's a dance, like it's a dance of evolution. It's a dance, 2 step and 1 step. And that's what, you know, in this dance of life, that what we're creating, what we're building, what we're claiming, our true voice that we're claiming, and our heart that we're claiming, and our soul that we're claiming. We have to be surrounded by the right people. You have to have the right companions around you, you know, the coach, the healers, the mentors, the trainers, the facilitators, the wisdom circles, whoever you're choosing to have as your soul family, as your companions in life. We don't do that alone. We're not building anything alone. What's the point?
Exactly.
Because through the eyes of the others, you get to fall in love with yourself. You get to understand who you are. You got to see your blind spots. You got to, so, you know, we need one another. So anyway, this is what's coming out of this question.
This is beautiful. No, this is so beautiful, Anique. So can everyone feel that? It is evolving. We are evolving. We're humans, you know, meet ourselves where we're at in each and every moment. So thank you. That is just beautiful, because it also talked to a piece that I wanted to mention about what you would, you know, what would you say to a person? What would you say to that woman who's watching right now that recognizes herself in this conversation, but doesn't know where to start? Just start in this moment, exactly where you're at, where you are, exactly what Anique said, you know, and each day you will evolve, you know, take the baby steps if you have to. We all have to. I started with baby steps. But yeah, I just think that is so profound and beautiful, and exactly what it is, that piece around surrounding yourself with people. Your environment is so key, isn't it? Yeah. So that's what we would say. That's what I hear Anique saying. Surround yourself with people who care, people who know, people who feel you, understand you, have been there. Yeah, it's been part of their life. So I want to ask, because I know we've only got a few minutes, and I think this conversation could go on all day. I've loved it too, but just would share one thing, one small thing a woman could do this week or today to begin coming back to herself. Not a big overhaul, just one honest small baby step that they could do. Please open up your mics and share. What would you say to that woman, what they could do right now? Jan.
I'd invite her to identify where she's feeling stuck. First of all, in her mind, also in her body, and also in her heart. Awareness is that's the starting point. Also, to do some practice around calming the nervous system, and this is a very practical side, but it's not. But a nervous system that is in overwhelm, can't think clearly, can't make decisions, cannot trust itself. It will resist. So that's part of the very practical part of taking care, being kind to self.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anique, you're moving forward. Did you want to share something? What would you say to that woman that they could do this week?
Did you say my name?
Yes, I did. I thought you were moving forward to speak.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just balancing. That was not the reason of my body moving, but anyways, I'm here now. So
Yep.
can you just repeat the question, please?
What would you what's one small thing that you can would say to a woman that's beginning to come back to herself? Not a big overall, just one small honest step that you could share with the women watching that recognize
Okay.
themselves in this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Well, asking yourself one question, what would I love now? What would my heart love right here, right now?
Beautiful, beautiful. Helen, Tony.
When someone gives you a compliment, take a breath, take a moment, and actually receive it. Take it in.
Yeah, beautiful. No words needed. A smile is enough. Yeah, that's a great practice, receiving. Tony.
And I love journaling processes and have worked with Ira Progoff's work on the intensive journal. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but people, almost everyone, if you give them a question and just ask them to have a dialogue with wisdom, and ask wisdom, what does my life wish to become? And just let yourself write automatically. And everyone is amazed at what shows up as their own answer. It's one of the ways they can get in touch with their answer within. And if they're uncomfortable speaking from within, they can go to the Buddha or Jesus or some master that they may want to be in touch with and have that conversation. Some people who still need some outside authority might look at, or an angel even, but just asking, what does my life wish to become? And then go back and forth with an answer in writing. It's
Such
just
a
very
powerful
powerful.
process, isn't it? How many of us have done like I have journals and journals and journals of journaling. It's it's a wonderful exercise, and the answers do definitely come. So thank you for sharing those insights with everyone. So and what is my life wish to become? Okay, so I know that we're at the time now, and I would love to continue this conversation, but this is really the beginning of returning to yourself, is having these conversations, and it starts right here in a circle like this. And with women like you, like have journeyed that life, have experienced the things, have moved through the stories that held us back. And I think, this is where it starts. So if something has stirred in you, if you're watching this and something stirred in you, and you would love that, ongoing support as you begin to return to yourself and hold space for this conversation, come and join us each month. You're always welcome here, but also reach out to, if anyone resonates with you here, reach out to the women and get that support, because my phrase this year is support is your superpower. And I'd like to add to that, love is your superpower as well. Return to yourself with love. And so with hand on heart, I'd like to now close the circle, honor all of your wisdom and all of your shares. And just remember that noticing these things is not a failure. It's the beginning of your wisdom speaking to you. So I invite you all to begin by just taking that one small step that the lady shared today. And remember, what's one part of myself that's asking to feel more, that 90 seconds of just feeling and processing. What would that look like on the other side of that? So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And if you have any comments, we'd love to know as well. Any shares in the chat? And we welcome Sophia back to finalise the proceedings.
And thank you, Joe. I mean, this is another one of your most powerful wisdom circles, I have to say. I love all the tips that everyone shared, you know, the techniques, what to do to help us return to ourselves, reclaim ourselves. And yes, you know, it is all about love and support. And as, you know, Alan was saying, you know, receiving, you know, allowing ourselves to receive whatever that may be, because if we can't receive compliments, then I don't think we can receive abundance, you know, in whatever way that is. So allowing ourselves to receive the compliments is a start. So thank you. And so I'd like to honour you, Joe, and honour our beautiful Jan and Tony and Helen and Anik for joining us on today's Wisdom Circle. And Joe will be back next month with, hopefully everyone else will return, or all these and other amazing women who join us from all over the world. And wherever you are, do click on the links below, whether you're watching the live or the replay. Reach out to these incredible women. Come and join us next month for another wonderful episode of Returning to Yourself, reclaiming that power within, and all our other programs that we offer here at Sacred You. Do check us out. And until then, we will see you and have a beautiful day or evening if you're on the other side of the world, day here if you're in Australia, and we will see you next time. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Sophia.